Picture this, it's the early 1970s, and ABBA is climbing the charts, bringing their catchy pop anthems and Swedish charm to the world. But behind the smiles and glitz, a love story was unfolding that would eventually unravel into heartbreak and bitterness, a story that forever shaped the band's music and legacy. Agnetha Faltskog, the blonde songstress with a voice that could melt hearts, and Bjorn, the creative force and songwriter, seemed destined for a fairy tale life together. Yet their marriage would prove to be anything but harmonious, leading to a breakup that still haunts their narrative decades later. Agnetha and Bjorn's relationship began when both were in the early stages of their careers. Bjorn, already a budding songwriter, met Agnetha, a rising star in Sweden's music scene, at a party in 1969. Their connection was instant, and they became inseparable, quickly becoming Sweden's musical power couple. The chemistry they shared would later translate into the heart and soul of ABBA's music. But even as their partnership blossomed professionally, the seeds of their future struggles were being planted. Agnetha's sensitivity and shyness contrasted sharply with Bjorn's pragmatic, determined demeanor, a dynamic that would later turn from romantic intrigue to a source of constant friction. Agnetha and Bjorn tied the knot in 1971, as ABBA was beginning to form. For a time, their life mirrored the uplifting melodies they produced, touring the world, raising their two children, Linda and Christian, and living at the center of a global music phenomenon. But fame, like a double-edged sword, soon became their undoing. While Bjorn thrived in the public eye, eager to seize every opportunity for the band's growth, Agnetha found herself overwhelmed by the endless commitments and the distance it created from her family. She struggled to balance the demands of being both a mother and an international star, a conflict that gnawed away at their relationship. The years between 1974 and 1977 were ABBA's golden period. Especially after winning the Eurovision Song Contest with Waterloo, the song shot them to international fame, and the success kept rolling in with hits like Dancing Queen and Mamma Mia. But behind the glitter of the spotlight, Agnetha grappled with the psychological toll of constant travel. Her longing for stability grew more intense as she missed out on crucial moments with her young children. Despite their shared victories, Agnetha felt increasingly isolated within the marriage. For Bjorn, the rapid pace of their lives was an exhilarating opportunity, but for Agnetha, it was a disorienting blur, further driving a wedge between them. Their home life suffered as a result. When they were not touring, they lived in separate worlds under the same roof. Bjorn, ever the workaholic, buried himself in the studio, while Agnetha found solace in their children and the quiet countryside. The distance between them became more palpable, and though they tried to mend it, the pressures of their different needs and desires only intensified the strain. The couple's differing approaches to fame and family life became a source of friction. Bjorn's ambitious nature clashed with Agnetha's desire for a more grounded, private existence. He pushed for long tours and appearances, believing they couldn't afford to miss out on any chance to maintain their star power. Meanwhile, Agnetha yearned for time at home with their children, feeling increasingly isolated and burdened by their hectic lifestyle. These disagreements, though seemingly trivial, deepened over time, creating a rift that they could not bridge. Their clashes often spilled over into recording sessions. Agnetha's reluctance to be constantly on the move led to tension when Bjorn and the other band members made plans for extended tours. Bjorn would often dismiss Agnetha's concerns, seeing them as unnecessary obstacles to ABBA's success. These arguments were sometimes followed by long silences, with Agnetha retreating into herself while Bjorn continued to focus on their next big project. This emotional distance was compounded by Agnetha's fear of flying, which added another layer of stress to the relentless travel schedule. Every tour announcement became a source of dread for her, a reality that Bjorn never fully grasped. The contrast between their public personas and private struggles was striking. To the world, they were the picture-perfect couple, but those closest to them knew of the growing chasm between them. Friends and colleagues often noticed Agnetha's sadness during recording sessions, her eyes betraying a longing for a simpler life, one that Bjorn's ambitions could not accommodate. By 1979, their marriage had reached a breaking point. Agnetha could no longer bear the emotional toll of a relationship that seemed to demand her complete sacrifice. Bjorn, on the other hand, appeared to move on swiftly, entering a new relationship soon after their separation. For Agnetha, this rapid shift was a bitter pill to swallow. She faced the dual heartbreak of losing her husband and having to see him with someone new in a matter of months. The divorce announcement came as a shock to the public, but insiders were less surprised. Agnetha had been struggling with feelings of loneliness and despair for years, often confiding in close friends that she felt like she was losing herself in the relationship. When the final decision was made, it was Agnetha who initiated the separation. She later admitted that by then she felt like a shadow of her former self, drained by a marriage that seemed to demand everything without giving back. Bjorn's swift rebound with another woman amplified the pain. Agnetha's grief was compounded by a sense of betrayal, as it seemed that while she was grappling with the end of their relationship, Bjorn had already moved on. Her isolation deepened, with tabloids painting her as the abandoned wife, a narrative that, while oversimplified, wasn't entirely inaccurate. The pain of these months seeped into ABBA's music, as songs like The Winner Takes It All resonated with raw emotion that left fans wondering how much of it was true. Even after their divorce, Agnetha and Bjorn had to maintain a professional relationship for the sake of ABBA. This dynamic created a strain that many have described as emotionally complex and fraught with tension. While Bjorn has often downplayed the bitterness of their split, Agnetha's perspective reveals a deeper sense of hurt. She has spoken of the challenges of balancing stardom with personal needs, hinting that her voice in the relationship was often drowned out by Bjorn's vision for their future. For years, the former couple navigated the awkward balance of performing together while their emotional wounds were still fresh. They maintained a facade of professionalism for the sake of the band, but the cracks showed, especially in their final tours. Their interactions, once marked by warmth and laughter, became cool and formal, a reflection of the distance that now defined their relationship. Agnetha's pain was not only over the loss of her marriage, but also over the realization that she had sacrificed so much of herself to sustain a union that could not last. Bjorn, for his part, has spoken of the regret he feels over the pain their divorce caused. Yet he has often emphasized the creative success that their personal turmoil brought to ABBA, a perspective that highlights the lingering disparity in how they processed the end of their relationship. Agnetha, who has since become a more reclusive figure, has remained guarded about those years, choosing to focus instead on her life beyond ABBA. But the sense of unfinished business still lingers between the lines of her interviews. Though time has passed and the members of ABBA have moved on in various ways, the story of Agnetha and Bjorn's marriage remains a subject of fascination for fans and the media. Their relationship was a microcosm of the struggles between personal desires and professional demands, love and ambition, togetherness and isolation. It serves as a reminder that even behind the most celebrated success stories, there can lie deep wounds and unresolved emotions. The enduring interest in their story is a testament to the complexities of their bond. Fans still analyze interviews, lyrics, and live performances, searching for clues about the true nature of their relationship. Agnetha's solo music, which often touches on themes of love, loss, and resilience, is seen as a continuation of the emotional journey she began during her time with ABBA. Despite the passage of time, the shadow of their past continues to hover over both of them, a reminder that some wounds never fully heal, even under the brightest lights of stardom. Their story, filled with love, loss, and unfulfilled dreams, remains an integral part of ABBA's legacy, a bittersweet reminder of the cost of success and the fragile nature of the bonds we hold dear. Even decades later, the story of Agnetha and Bjorn's marriage continues to intrigue audiences. The media and fans alike have tried to piece together the emotional subtext of their songs and the dynamics during interviews, fascinated by how such a successful partnership could collapse so publicly. Agnetha's later music, especially in her solo career, often carries traces of her past experiences, songs that reflect themes of introspection, healing, and lingering sadness. Her decision to step back from the public eye in the years after ABBA's breakup suggests an attempt to reclaim the privacy and tranquility she had long craved during her marriage. For Bjorn, the narrative was different. He channeled his experiences into his work, co-writing musicals and projects that allowed him to reflect on his past while moving forward. Yet the shadow of their relationship has never fully disappeared from his public persona. Even when ABBA reunited for their recent digital ventures, the chemistry between Agnetha and Bjorn remained a topic of public fascination, as fans speculated on whether the passage of time had healed any of the wounds left by their separation. Their story endures not just because of the music they created, but because it embodies the human complexities of love, ambition, and the sacrifices required to achieve greatness. It serves as a poignant reminder that even those who seem to have everything a fairy tale career, talent, and success can experience heartache that leaves a lasting mark. For many, Agnetha and Bjorn's relationship is emblematic of the bittersweet nature of the bonds that form in the limelight and the personal costs that often accompany professional triumphs.